It's Thursday, August 28th. In the headlines, the Jamaica Labour Party's Dr. Andrew Holness and the People's National Party's Mark Golding is set to square off in Jamaica Debates 2025. The rollout of Phase 1 of Rural School Bus Program is set for September 8. In business news, Scotiabank President and CEO Audrey Togwell-Henry receives the prestigious Business Leadership Award. Regionally, in Antigua and Barbuda, forecasters warn of prolonged drought. And in sports, Caribbean Regional Conference on Intellectual Property and Sport. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Leader of the Jamaica Labour Party and Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and leader of the People's National Party and opposition leader Mark Golding will come face-to-face tonight in the Jamaica Debates Commission's leadership debate. The two political party leaders will likely answer questions about the fight against crime, corruption, and FinSAC, public sector compensation, housing, infrastructure, and constitutional reform. Now, members of the public are being asked to post their questions on the Jamaica Debates Commission's social media platforms at Jamaica Debates. JDC Commissioner Brian Schmidt says all is in place for the event.
Preparations for tonight's leaders' debate are proceeding exactly as per schedule, and everything is going fine. So the Jamaica Debates Commission is really looking forward to a good production and a good debate tonight for the leaders' debate, which begins at 9 p.m. and is available on television stations and radio stations island-wide. So listeners and viewers can certainly tune in to be a part of this experience. And it has been our pleasure and privilege to present this series to you, the public. And as always, watch, listen, decide, vote.
In the discussion about the main aim of the debate, we asked whether or not we will see a winner.
The purpose of the debates for the Jamaica Debates Commission is very, very simple. We provide an opportunity for the public to compare those who put themselves up for public office side by side to hear what their thoughts and views are on how they intend to address issues that are of importance to the nation. The questions, of course, are asked by our journalists and via the public, and those questions from the public are moderated by our social media editor. So it allows the public as well to have an input into what questions are asked. And we think this is critical that between the public and the trained journalists, that the debaters are asked questions that definitely are of importance to the public, because the decisions that the voting public makes and the decisions that the debaters make, whoever is elected into office, will impact the lives of all of us for years and even decades to come.
The election debates 2025 will be aired on the PBCJ and streamed on our social media platform at 9 p.m. Jamaica is getting a major boost in student safety. The government's National Rural School Bus Program is set to roll out its first phase on September 8, offering safer and more reliable transportation for children in rural communities. Denita Rodney tells us more.
Speaking at a blessing ceremony for the new fleet, Transport Minister Daryl Vaz called the initiative one of the most transformational policies in the country's history. The program, which covers 258 schools in its first phase, is designed to protect children from the dangers of unsafe travel and to provide peace of mind for parents.
Of introducing a rural school bus system for rural Jamaica is one of the most transformational initiatives that has taken place in the transport industry, and by extension, one of the best policies that any government since independence has implemented. For too long, parents in rural communities have faced uncertainty over safe, reliable, and affordable transportation for their children to and from school.
He shares that the 110 buses in Phase 1 are retrofitted for Jamaica's roads, equipped with GPS tracking accessible to parents.
They are equipped with GPS tracking accessible to parents, speed limiters, onboard surveillance cameras, geofencing, and a cashless payment system. This means that for the first time, parents will be able to monitor their children's movement to and from school, providing peace of mind and an extra layer of security.
According to the Transport Minister, over 120 drivers have been trained in child supervision, emergency response, and child protection, supported by dispatchers and regional hubs.
Over 120 drivers are currently being trained island-wide, supported by dispatchers, coordinators, and maintenance teams. Their training goes beyond driving. It covers child supervision, emergency response, and the laws that protect our students. Regional support hubs are being established. Daily sanitation and maintenance routines are built into operations, and a dedicated rural school bus division within the JUTC are also in place to oversee and ensure reliable service. This is not a rushed experiment.
Minister Vaz emphasized that Phase 1 of the program is just the beginning. Within 2 years, all 850 rural schools serving more than 300,000 students will be included in the national system. The initiative has also received strong public support, with a recent poll showing over 55% of Jamaicans in favor. Reporting for the news on PBCJ, I am Denida Rodney.
Studies have shown that women in Jamaica remain at a disadvantage in the labor force. The government is reinvesting its efforts to improve women's participation in the labor force through grants, mentorship, and policy. In this episode of Young Boss, we talk to CEO of People Plus Management Solutions Limited, Makeda Layla. Her story of survival in the world of business is truly inspirational.
People Plus helps entrepreneurs to start, build, and grow their businesses. So we have services from business registration, business coaching, mentorship, training, and we also provide virtual assistant services. We can help you in starting your business, registering your company or your business name in Jamaica. We do all the paperwork for you. We advise you on what business structure you should register. So we provide certain levels of services. We also help companies after registration to get their business bank account setting up. We help them with business coaching and strategy calls so that they are not just registered, but they at least have an idea of what to do next. In 2019, when I started, I was working at a corporate company, and I remember a friend saying to me that, Makeda, I think you need to start a business because you have transformed this company and you should be out there helping other companies to grow. And I thought about it. It was in September, and I was like, business, not me really. But then I thought about it and I said, why not? Because at least I'm using what I'm passionate about and I'm helping other persons to grow their business. When I just started out, I had a lot of fears, I would say. I thought I wasn't good enough. I thought, who's gonna buy my services? I'm this girl from Prospect, Clarendon, like I didn't go to those top schools or anything like that. But then having friends and knowing what you're about and knowing how passionate and how qualified I am, I like, but why can't I do it? Everyone else is doing it. Why can't I do it? And I believe that with God being my biggest push, It has been amazing, and it's not just to make money for us, it's really to see that their business is growing. It gives me pleasure to see and to get up to a text in the morning and say, hey Makita, guess what? I got this done, I got that done, I'm now doing this, I'm now doing that. That alone in of itself gives me the most joy. And it's something that I want to do for the rest of my life. I am really happy and passionate that I found what I love and I'm doing what I love.
Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, here to bring you the stories shaping the financial world and guiding your journey to smarter business decisions. Let's dive into the top headlines. Jamaica's two largest banks recently announced executive achievements. NCB Capital Markets Limited on Wednesday, August 27, announced the appointment of Stacey Ann Tate as its new Chief Investment Officer, bringing nearly 2 decades of financial industry experience to the role. Tate, who holds both Chartered Financial Analyst and Chartered Alternative Investment Analyst designations, will lead the company's investment strategy and oversee the growth and performance of its funds under management. And Scotiabank President and CEO Audrey Tugwell Henry received the prestigious Business Leader Award in recognition of her outstanding contributions to Jamaica's financial sector at the Jamaican Diaspora 2025 Independence Gala hosted at the Marriott Marquis in New York City, August 23. Senior lecturer in the Department of Economics at the University of the West Indies, Dr. Nadine McLeod says the government must provide more support to the creative industries to ensure both the sector and the country benefit in a rapidly digitizing global economy. She highlighted to RJR News the need for greater assistance in areas such as finance, infrastructure, legal frameworks, and intellectual property. Her view is supported by Dr. Stuart Davies, senior economist in the United Nations Resident Coordinator's Office, who stressed that unlocking the creative economy is not optional but essential for Jamaica's long-term prosperity and global leadership. For the trading period ending August 27, 2025, these were the most actively traded stocks. International hardware distributor Fosrich Company Limited shares with 5,407,618 units traded, representing 21.86% of market sales volume. Wigton Energy Limited with 8,731,927 units traded, representing 36.30% of market sales volume. Caribbean Investment Conglomerate JMMB Group Limited 7.35% cumulative redeemable preference shares with 4,032,032 units traded, representing 16.30% of market sales volume. We now shift our focus to the Forex market rate set by the Bank of Jamaica. On August 26, 2025, the Bank of Jamaica reported US $57.22 million purchased and US $52.09 million sold by Forex traders. Forex traders earned $1.93 per dollar, selling the US at $161.07 and buying the US at $159.14. The Canadian dollar netted Forex traders $3.69 per transaction, with selling at $117.41 and buying at $113.72. The British pound yielded Forex traders $4.18 in profits, with selling at $217.54 and buying at $213.36. For our credit report tip of the day, not checking your credit report is like driving blindfolded. You have no idea what's coming. Mistakes, fraud, and missed opportunities can all hit you hard if you stay in the dark. Here are a few ways ignoring your credit score can hurt you. Higher borrowing costs for emergencies. more cash required upfront in transactions, harder to qualify for rewards credit cards. Now, when you're building something from nothing, at the age of 45 and beyond as a professional woman, you may find business planning isn't just about numbers, it's about rhythm. Just as the seasons shape nature, they can shape the way we budget, invest, and grow. By weaving classic money teachings with nature cycles, professional women can design strategies that are aligned, sustainable, and powerful for the stage of life they're in now. So here are some ideas. Manage cash flow to cover heat waves of expenses. Celebrate milestones with clients and save a portion of abundant harvest for future needs. And that wraps up today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, reminding you that every financial decision is a step toward your future. Until next time, stay focused, stay informed, and keep striving for success. See you soon.
In regional news, forecasters in Antigua and Barbuda are warning that drought conditions could arrive sooner than expected, with rainfall projections remaining low and a 3-month short-term drought anticipated by week's end. ABS News' Alicia George reports.
Being in a hurricane season doesn't automatically bring rain, and as we can see here from the Potworks Dam, we're already feeling the impacts of drought. Antigua and Barbuda could be headed into drought conditions sooner than expected. Dale Destin, director of the Antigua and Barbuda Meteorological Services, warns that by the end of August, the Twin Islands state may already be in the grip of a meteorological drought.
Conditions are not looking very good in terms of rainfall to end the drought. And so we see drought conditions continuing for the foreseeable future, possibly through the end of the year.
The Met Office reports that rainfall for June and July totaled just 2.5 inches, the lowest in 5 years. It is also the 7th driest early summer on record since 1928. I have never seen Potworks Dam so dry. In front of me, at the back of me, on the side of me, all this should be water. But right now, all we're seeing is parched land. Now, thanks to reverse osmosis facilities like this one at Port, residents still have access to potable water despite drought conditions. While reverse osmosis plants are helping to meet demand, Destin cautions that they are masking the true scale of the crisis. Forecasts indicate that the 5 inches of rain needed to reverse the trend are unlikely to materialize.
20 years ago, 30 years ago, with similar type rainfall deficits, we would have seen a situation where many, if not most households would be out of water. We would see a situation where people be traveling across the country looking for water. Business would have been significantly impacted.
2 weeks ago, the Met Office placed Antigua under a drought warning, advising that moderate or worse conditions are expected after this week. Data for Barbuda is limited, so it is unclear whether the same warning applies there, but conditions are being closely monitored for signs of water stress. Authorities are urging residents, farmers, and business operators to immediately intensify water conservation efforts, protect resources, and prepare for potentially severe drought later this year. Alicia George for ABS News.
Workers in Trinidad and Tobago's energy sector could soon see more stable jobs, with government plans to double the number of permanent positions. The update came from Minister in the Energy Ministry, Ernesta Kazar, during the signing of an MOU between the NESC Technical Institute and Caribbean Well Service Company Limited this week. More from TTT News.
The NESC Technical Institute signed a Memorandum of Understanding with Caribbean Wild Service Company Limited on Wednesday. The MOU will see the creation of apprenticeship and on-the-job training opportunities for NESC IT graduates at Caribbean Wild Service. Minister in the Ministry of Energy and Energy Industries, Ernesto Kiza, said these new apprenticeship and OJT jobs will not be the only ones added to the local energy sector.
In the first quarter of 2025, a number of persons reported to be employed in the oil and gas sector averaged about 12,800, accounting for a mere 2.3% of our country's labor force. As our government aims to restore Trinidad and Tobago to be the energy hub of the Caribbean, we aim to create employment opportunities for our citizens as well, and with a keen focus on youth development.
Minister Kisa said the energy sector continues to make a significant contribution to the local economy, with 45% of gross domestic product annually.
What gets measured gets done. So 2.3%, we want to increase that by maybe 100% come next year.
The minister added efforts are being made to ensure that the sector provides stable employment opportunities.
We want to return this industry into being a proper, sustainable industry where jobs are concerned. And one of the ways we have to do that is, one, focus on more young people entering the industry from that perspective, either as an apprentice or in an actual permanent or long-term contract job. The other way is the existing employment scenario needs to be expanded, and I'm talking specifically now about heritage.
The signing ceremony was held at the NESC-IT Drilling Academy in St. Madeleine. Minister Kisa also got the opportunity to tour the Drilling Academy. Terry-Ann Brown-Campbell, TTT News.
In sports, what do sports and intellectual property have in common? That's the question being explored in St. Lucia, where local and international leaders have gathered for a conference to discuss how athletes and sporting clubs can better protect their names, images, and innovations.
National, regional, and international leaders gathered in St. Lucia for a two-day conference to discuss intellectual property, IP. The event was held under the theme Beyond the Game, Innovation, IP, and Sport.
How we can help our athletes and also other stakeholders, association, clubs, administrators to understand intellectual property rights and how it can bring value to the commercialization of sports.
Carol Simpson, the officer in charge of the Division for Latin America and the Caribbean, DILAC, at the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, and co-chair of the IP and Sports Task Force, delved into the full scope and importance of intellectual property and rights.
When the athlete goes on the field or performs, some will see that as entertainment, and we're saying it is much more than that. It is an asset. These athletes are bringing their own unique brand to the field or to the game of play. And so the things that they bring, their names also have become very powerful. Julianne Alfred, her name is now international and she's recognized globally. The idea is for her to build the brand, build what is unique for Julianne Alfred and others like her, so that they then can commercialize it and also benefit economically from it while the world is enjoying what they bring to the sports.
Sports Minister Kenson Casimir spoke about the timeliness of the discussions given the increasing international status and acclaim of local and regional athletes and sporting clubs.
We know that as a government that has semi-professionalized football and cricket, and we've seen the rise of Julian Alfred, Akim Ogis, we've seen Keon Gaston really doing well, Luke Chevrier doing well, that we felt it was very, very important for individuals to understand the modern way of ensuring that their image rights, the intellectual property is protected and becomes somewhere that is an avenue to get sustained value for what they're putting out there, get finances based on their images being used, based on what they get involved in. So we felt it was very critical for us to have this activity over the next 2 days for our young athletes.
Stakeholders present at the conference included the Registry of Companies and Intellectual Property Office in St. Lucia, the International Olympic Committee, the Ministry of Tourism, Creative Industries and Culture, and the Attorney General's Chambers.
When people hear about intellectual property, it seems very technical because you're speaking about things like trademarks, patents, copyrights. what does that really mean for an athlete? What is the value of knowing about copyright as an athlete? And so for us, we wanted to make sure that we could bring these athletes together, the various sporting associations, to understand what is the value of protecting their brand as an athlete, how they can make money off that brand, and how to protect it.
Officials expressed their commitment to safeguarding the name and image of athletes, clubs, and associations through established frameworks that promote integrity, reinforce legal protections, and contribute to educating future generations on the value of respect and proper representation in sport.
Carib Brewery Limited has signed Trinbago Knight Riders head coach Dwayne Bravo and captain Nicholas Peran as its newest brand ambassadors. The pair sealed the partnership at the company's Champ Fleurs factory on Tuesday. Adrian Lazar brings the details.
Ahead of the Trinbago Knight Riders opening home match in the 2025 Caribbean Premier League versus the Antigua and Barbuda Falcons at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy, two of their team's key figures, head coach Dwayne Bravo and captain Nicholas Peran, were named as the latest brand ambassadors for Carib Brewery Limited. The pair were present at the company's headquarters in Champlain, where they received tokens of appreciation while formally signing off on the collaboration. Speaking during a short ceremony, Managing Director of Carib Brewery Limited, David Welch, welcomed the pair to the Carib family.
Bravo and Peran are more than players, they are cultural icons. They reflect the confidence, energy, and unstoppable pride of our people. And together with Carib Brewery, they remind us that the Caribbean way is second to none. So let's raise our voices, and maybe raise a cold Carib after, to celebrate this new chapter. Carib Lager, Bravo, Peran, bold, vibrant, and unstoppable. That is how we play. And together, the best is yet to come. Thank you.
With Carib having recently launched its brand in India, and the two having a strong history of playing in the South Asian country via the Indian Premier League, the duo is looking forward to pushing the local brand to another level.
But I think this partnership with Carib, you couldn't ask for any two better brand ambassadors. So this is going to be a champion partnership on and off the field. We're going to represent this brand very well. We are proud to be ambassadors of this partnership. India is like a second home for us. And also, for me personally, I enjoy the opportunity to take a homegrown brand overseas. And I think that both of us definitely looking forward to this journey, looking forward to this partnership. We will make you guys proud.
The TKR coach went on to thank the beverage company for all the years of support.
But Carib is a lifestyle, the brand is a lifestyle, and it's an organization that's very close to my heart. A few years ago, I was a brand ambassador of actually Malta. So now, I'm here once again in another partnership, and I really appreciate the support over the years. So thank you very much. We'll make you guys proud. And Peran, no pressure, but we need to win the trophy.
Adrian Lazar, TTT Sport.
And that's the news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thanks for watching.